So this is Troy Casey, and this is his new book, Ripped at 50.
A Journey to Self-Love. So this is all my healing through my own black mold experience, and also I came out of the jungle in 2006, and I had these visions that humanity makes it from the precipice of ecological disaster, and that we pull a rabbit out of a hat, basically. And I came out and I shared the stories of the Amazon. I shared the Icaros of the ayahuasca shamans, the Shipibo Indians, and no one gave a shit. Or let me just phrase that another way. I mean, people don't have the capacity to slow down and be like, let me think about the environment. Let me dedicate a portion of my life to, affecting change on the planet. And so my mentors told me, you got to chunk it down. You got to meet people where they're at. And so I didn't really understand that. So many people, even people that I looked up to, they're like, you can't save the world, and I'm like, really? Because that's the vision I got. And I know it's an inside job first and foremost. So I had to go through my journey myself. And that's what the book is all about. As above, so below. How do we expect the world to be healthy if we're not healthy ourselves? And that is the natural law of correspondence, as above, so below. And so
if you want to save the world, you got to save yourself.
Correct. Yeah. So I had digestive issues. I was an asshole. I didn't know who I was, basically. I came out of high school, college. I was incarcerated as a youth. I graduated high school. I put myself through high school, put myself through college. And you're in the society, and it's like, what do you do in the society? Make money, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? And I didn't know how to do that, so I went to school. I started studying, science. I went with my counselors. I was like, where's the money? That's what I wanted to know. They're like, well, science and math degrees, get you more money. I'm like, okay, sign me up. And I didn't have the family life for school. In the beginning, got kicked out of all the schools I went to, so I didn't have my math. So I had to go back and do like 3 years of math in college, or 2.5 years at least, before I got to calculus, and then that sets you up for certain science requirements. And in the meantime, somebody said that I should be a model. And I'm thinking, hey, money, right?
I'll take it.
That's money, right? And I was on the fast track to the slow track in college, and with all these math requirements. And so then I signed up for the modeling, and I went to Italy, and I got out there, and you're in front of the camera, so the camera's on you, and agents are pretty ruthless in that industry, and I would bloat. I had digestive issues, irritable bowels, indigestion, emotional issues down there. Later on,
was that the 80s or 90s?
That was the late 80s. So 1988, I started modeling. 1989, I moved to Milan. And then I crushed it all through the 90s in South Beach, in New York, and London, and Tokyo, and Paris.
Trying not to eat pizza.
Well, that's what happened. I moved to Italy, and pizza and beer is free for all the models, so that the regular patrons can come in there and pay a lot of money to go see the models, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the game, and I'd come into the agency the next morning, and they're like, honey, you're fat. I'm like, what did I do?
Pizza and beer is not probably the best diet to be on for anybody.
And I'm an American, right? How was I raised? Captain Crunch and Pop-Tarts. Yeah, my mom made real food, but we also grew up on McDonald's and TV dinners and all sorts of stuff. I grew up in the 70s. So I went down to the American bookstore. I gave it the old college try. I was like, hey, I don't know anything about nutrition. I don't know what's going on with my body. And 30 years later, I realized that our curse is our gift. So 30 years later, I have some form of knowledge and wisdom and some form of expertise on diet, nutrition, herbs, internal purification, fasting. I dug down to bedrock. It wasn't until about in the last 10 years that I figured out the gluten piece, which is attached to the glyphosate piece.
You might not be gluten intolerant as much as glyphosate intolerant, right?
Correct. Huh? Correct. And once the gut microbiome gets hammered enough, anything that could possibly inflame it will inflame it.
And the irritation from there leads to irritation everywhere.
That's
your
correct.
Joints, your brain, your heart, all your organs, and it's just the beginning of all the end. You know?
Correct. And so when it comes to gluten, I don't mess around with gluten because it'll give me a food hangover. I'm very clear on that.
Me too.
Yeah. So, so your curse is your gift. And so 30 years later, I'm so grateful for the journey that I went through, and now I get to help other people. I can, I've made a great video on that. It's up on YouTube. But if people just pay attention to some of the powerful basics of how our food supply built, how our digestive tract work as hunters gatherers, fasting was built into our nutrition. Herbs, micronutrition, and a wide variety of whatever we could hunt and gather.
Yeah.
And so if we pay attention to, those things and we apply them to modern day, even a little bit, I think it'll gain results for people. In fact, I see results in my clients.
Every day.
Yes.
So is there a tagline on here? Is there like something that summarizes? Basically, you're saving the world through saving the individual. Is there inspiration? What's your mission?
So my mission is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime. So I came out of the Amazon with a vision in 2006, 3 very powerful visions. One was an amalgamation of my on-camera career that was mixed with my natural medicine studies and my nutrition studies. And also I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, and the Certified Health Nut was born.
You need to tell us some jokes during this. Do you have any old jokes that we could crack up?
Look, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Hate me because I'm an asshole.
Okay. Well, that's when we bring in your wife, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a good friend of mine wrote that joke for me, and it actually crushed it. All my stand-up, my initial stand-up sets are on my YouTube channel. It's actually one of my first videos. Laughter is the best medicine.
And it is.
It is the very first video that I put up on Certified Health Nut YouTube channel.
It gets people out of their head and into their heart.
That's right.
It gets them connected and real, authentic.
And it subjugates their programming.
Yeah. Yeah, like Richard Pryor and George Carlin and so on, for our generation, broke the mold and made us start to look at ourselves and it made fun of ourselves, and then it changed society through that laughter. Same thing with you. You're intending to change people, so maybe the humor is actually a really good gift for you.
Yeah, I like a little coyote medicine. I like to play the court jester, the joker. So, and with serious content behind it, right? My job is to help people think differently. That's all. We've got 70% of the obesity rates right now, 1 in 2 cancer, 33% diabetes, and people think that's normal. And then I just say...
It's just part of aging. That's what they say, right? It's like, no, it doesn't have to be, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I present something like drinking water and going to bed on time and harmonizing with the celestial realms, going to bed at 10.
So your grandmother was right.
Yes, of course. Well, all ancient wisdom. Look, there's nothing new underneath the sun. It's just the way I present it and package it for the modern human. But there is nothing new under the sun. But I have been lambasted and attacked and trolled all over the internet for, hey, drink clean water. You got any scientific proof for that? It's like, duh.
What's the opposite?
Right? Yeah. You see how deep the programming is when people, obey to the idea of scientism as opposed to just real scientific proof. And so,
were you raised on Coca-Cola as the real thing?
I mean, we had soda in my house. And so I don't know if I was raised. I mean, my mom cooked good food, but there was plenty of processed foods there as well, and we didn't hesitate to go to McDonald's. So,
well, the programming came in about our age. I'm 56. You're 54, and so remember Tang was the space-age drink that had more vitamin C than orange juice, and so it had to be better than oranges, right? And then we were shoved so many falsehoods, and that was the beginning of being lied to with our food system, which led to the chemical system, which led to the drug system and the pharmaceutical system, and then we're just in a mess now.
Well, how about the idea cookie called feminism that was sold to everyone? Yeah. Ultimately, I played Mr. Mom, so I know what it's like to do a woman's job, and I don't want to come off sexist or misogynist with that statement. But the thing is no matter how good of a parent I could be, the children wanted to be with their mother, and that was a fact. And she did a much better job at it. Hormonally, it wasted me. I gave it my best, and it wasn't good enough. And I was exhausted. It brought me to my knees. And so...
Your boobs aren't big enough. Right?
And it was good. And I slung those kids. I had them right here the whole time. And if I was bottle feeding them after we weaned them, I weaned my...
I want my mommy, though.
They want their mommy. That is a biological, energetic connection. And so, and I think where people really need to, have their fist in the air for empowerment is, hey, let's respect the woman. Let's respect her job as a nurturer. Not get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that it's a natural inclination. That's a natural ability. In fact, so what happened and helped drive our divorce is one of my businesses went upside down. And as a man, I was like, boom, I'll take care of the kids. I got it. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. She was good at what she did. She's got a background in fashion. And so she was able to go back and build a business, but she hated me for it, right? Mm-hmm. She resented me for that fact. So when we got back together, I basically helped her get off of that business. And now she's back being mainly a mother. She's an amazing businesswoman, but mainly she's a mother. She's loving it. The kids are loving it.
Love it.
We're back together. Well, and just, having her be around the kitchen. She's Korean. She likes the traditional diet. She makes kimchi. She loves to cook and nurture us. Mm-hmm. I mean, to the point where it's so natural for her, I don't know if she sees it. And then for me, I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, the easiest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And it's just like, I almost don't care what it is, but if she's putting, here's a little salad, here's a little kimchi, here's a little rice, here's a little food, whatever it is, I feel nourished and nurtured.
There's love in the food, right?
And I think that's missing. Yeah. And I think the whole feminism cookie that we were sold, as solving all of our problems, not that, I respect any human being on the planet. They want to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. As long as they don't hurt me or my family or anyone else, then I think that's cool. Do whatever you want. But if we're going to look at high performance and the way things function optimally, then I think that we should have natural roles. I mean, our biochemistry, our physiology is designed as men to kill or be killed. And the second...
Fight or flight, fear, yeah.
We're designed that way. Yeah. And look what happens in our society right now. As soon as a man raises their voice or they get angry, we don't tolerate that. I just think we've lost our way as a human species. We're disconnected. We're disconnected from nature. We're disconnected from the earth. We're disconnected from ourselves. We're disconnected from our natural roles. Not that human beings can't play other roles in the modern world utilizing technology. It's totally true. I mean, my wife is an amazing business person. The fact of the matter is, and I'm an amazing father, but I can't be a mother. Right? And I think once the woman has children, I think their most important role, their most important job is nurturing and nourishing the children. And look what's happened since feminism, right? That was ushered into the 70s, right? The CIA worked with Gloria Steinem. They wanted two people to enter into the tax structure, right? And so now, if you want to live in today's modern world, both parents have to work. My mother didn't start working until 1979, and it was almost a hobby for her. But as time went on, it became necessary that two people. So who's watching the children? And let me ask you a better question. Who's watching the food supply? Mm-hmm. Who's the natural nurturers of the children? Mm-hmm. The women were. And what's happened to our food supply since feminism got ushered in?
Oh yeah, because there's no time, so we got to do convenience.
There's been deep, dark shenanigans And again, my motivation is peace on earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Money, we live in an abundant world. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the truth.
So how are you creating peace on earth?
By creating peace inside of myself, first and foremost.
What incredible lessons have you guys learned through the crises that you've had? What are the big lessons?
That how much I was programmed for my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And how have you unprogrammed?
I've been doing a lot of plant medicines and healing works for the last 2 years. It's very, very focused on healing myself. So healing myself creates peace within me, and that will contribute to the relationship that I have with the partner.
Does that change the emotions and the responses?
Responses, emotions are emotions. We are entitled for emotions, good emotions, bad emotions. All we are here as a human being, we experience it. What I have done before in my entire life, as long as many other sisters have, or we've been squashed our emotions down so that we don't feel those bad emotions. It wasn't really allowed. So it would be squashed and go under the rug. Mm-hmm. And what I have realized with my healing journeys were that those emotions are valid. Mm-hmm. And everything that I am experiencing is something that I am creating.
I've heard every crisis or problem is an opportunity to learn and grow. Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like that's part of it, that you see a problem or a crisis and you look for the lesson.
Oh yeah, everything is, the way I looked at before was everybody who is not being in line with me is hurting me, harming me. Mm-hmm. And actually that is the teachers. So no one is here to hurt me, and everyone is here to teach me. So every engagement that I have within each individual, even though it seems like bad relationships and bad opportunities, it is all there for me to learn and what to do so that I can grow.
Yeah. Wow. And has she been a good teacher for you?
Of course.
Has she taught you divine feminine?
I mean, you know, it's layered, but it's a miracle to. I mean, first of all, she created our family. You know, she created our kids, and we created them together. And I mean, she's just taught me extremely valuable lessons in relationship. You know, we couldn't solve our problems at one time, and we got divorced, and now we're remarried, and we're committed to our own healing and our own responsibility for our own emotional life. So she inspires me just on how much growth that she's done. I know you're not supposed to point the finger when you know you're in a relationship, but the fact of the matter is her doing her own work really helped out everything, because I think the family should be together. I think it's important that the family is together. And a lot of the experiences and a lot of what I talk about in my work has been developed through my relationship. So after 2008, when one of my businesses went down, she went back. She's an industrialist. She's trained in the fashion industry. She went back. She built a business up. I weaned my daughter at 11 months. She went back there. Energetically, she wanted to be with the children. So there was a certain part of her that didn't like me because I wasn't providing that for her. And that's the path that we had to go through, had to take. And her disdain towards that really took its toll on the relationship. And she was able to, forgive herself and ask for forgiveness and realize that she wanted to be a better mother. She wanted to be there for her kids. And I had to get clear on my business. I was capitulating to the feminine. I was capitulating to, we're all equal and everything's just fine. Well, let me tell you, My energy is best going out and figuring it out, utilizing my mind as a laser beam to cut through the fabric of reality, right? That, the masculine is represented by the arrow, going. And so, and I was playing Mr. Mom. I had to go through that process to understand and respect what it takes to be a woman, to take care of the children. There's no better or worse, but that job right there, it wrecked me as a healthy human being, right? It's not, that wasn't hormonally, it wrecked me. It exhausted me. It wore me out. And they're equipped for that. They thrive on that nurturing element. They have the extra gene, they have the extra element to take care of the kids and take care of the house and do all the things that are difficult while they're also repairing. Postpartum is another big issue right now. Postpartum issues, postpartum depression, thyroid issues. Why? Because the soil is effete. They're not getting the nutrition to feed the thyroid. All the stressors in the environment, another thing I talk about in my book, the 7 factors of stress, these things are exacerbated, so it really breaks the woman down hormonally. She's also out in the workforce. Most women have to enter into the workforce soon after the children come. And the children need the mother at that time. It's essential, it's very important for the nurturing. And what's happened to our world? What's going on with the children? The mothers aren't there. Who's watching the food? Feminism, equal rights. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, who's suffering? The family is suffering.
And the kids.
And the kids are suffering.
And then the culture.
Well, and not only that, but I see all these single mothers out there. And then they dote over the children, especially the boys, and it weakens them, makes them into snowflakes. And this is the culture that we have.
It's like the worst dogs are those little poodles that get fawned all over. Oh, you little blah, 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 blah.
And they bark, and they have no discipline.
Same with the kids.
Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, little cute. Oh, isn't it cute that he's chewing your shoes?
Right. They need a man, and they need a man. Because the man's going to administer a heavy dose of tough shit, right? Because guess what? Life is going to administer that. And if they're not prepared for life, what are they going to do? They're going to roll over and play the victim and make everyone responsible for their feelings. It makes weak snowflake culture. And that's what we see here. We need real men leading the way now.
But not in the old paradigm way, in a
balance,
in a slightly skewed way.
But a good balanced,
a new way.
A good balanced man, because I have friends that are in martial arts, is both savage and saint. They have cultivated their savage so they're not out destroying other people, right? With either meditation or practice in the martial arts, etc. So, because we have the full potential of yin and yang in every single human being, masculine and feminine in every single human being. All the ancient sages have said, walk the middle path, walk the razor's edge, balance, and all knowledge is knowledge of self. So it's an internal job. But to recognize the energies, I have dominant yang energy, right? I need someone that's more yin, but we're living in a yanged out world. And she was in the business world. So she's a dangerous person because she's massively yin, but when she's got to put on her man pants, man, you don't want to mess with her. You don't want to mess with her, and I don't want her to be in that position. I want to be in this position.
My divine feminine being in that position.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you find the balance?
We're finding it right now.
Yeah.
And we're finding it moment to moment.
Yeah. Every day we're working on ourselves, working on the relationship. Yeah.
And giving gratitude at the same time for the problem, and then not hanging on to it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the rubber meets the road in today's healing mechanisms and where we're at in our own development. That is exactly where we're at.
Forgiveness, gratitude.
And being able to come back to center, to come back to love, utilizing the gratitude for this life on earth, for the troubles, trials, and tribulations that are awakening, their spiritual fodder for our own awakening, and coming back to center as soon as those feathers are ruffled, right? Like water off a duck's back, right? You don't want to get your feathers wet because then you can sink, right? So you let that water come off the duck's back and you come back to center. Oh, this person offended me. I'm a victim, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Oh, husband, you've affected me. Or wife, you're giving me too much problem. How can we come back to center? Thank you. Grateful for what you do. And that's it. And take responsibility for my own real estate and my own intention and my own creation and my own emotions, right? And finding peace and harmony, because that's where this conversation started, right? How do we create peace in the world? How do we save the world? Well, we got to save ourselves first and foremost. It's all an inside job.
Yes. As above, so below. Could you explain that just a second?
As above, so below is the natural law of correspondence. There's 7 immutable laws, maybe 8 if you look at the heart as a generator. So the law of mentalism, the law of polarity, the law of gender, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect. So they're just immutable laws that govern the material world. And so as above, so below. The micro represents the macro. It's a holographic element. So the flexible body, flexible mind, stable body, stable mind, strong body, strong mind. How do we expect the world to be healthy and the environment to be healthy if we're not healthy ourselves? So the objective with Ripped at 50 is to inspire people to live a better life for themselves. Then once the book is out and I go on tour, then I'm going to run for president of planet Earth, right?
Or at least this room.
It should be pretty easy,
Should be easy.
Should be easy.
Yeah.
And so as a public figure, my objective, my platform is clean air, water, and soil, right? That is the common human heritage. I think that is what matters most. How we get there, that will be a little bit of the minutia that comes out, but I've come up with 4 major solutions that we can call into existence using the laws of alchemy, no different than the Wright brothers wanting to fly like an eagle, right? So free energy, Tesla technology, cold fusion as they were working on in the 80s, or John Harrison, I think is his name, up in Canada. He was melting steel beams at room temperature, right? Mm-hmm. So crushing them, right, with cold fusion. So the idea of cold fusion exists in the mind of man. The idea of free energy, harnessed energy from the Earth's magnetic field, mm-hmm. right, was already in the mind of Nikola Tesla. Had massive amounts of research and information on that. And obviously Elon Musk, who's no schlep to business, right, names his car company after this gentleman. So calling forth free energy. Nassim Harameyn's working on this, zero-point technology. Mark Rodin's got the mathematics on it, the Rodin coil. And so the fact of the matter, and Procter & Gamble, what's his name, Foster Gamble, he did the movie Thrive, and he's got another movie coming out, Thrive 2, and it's all about free energy. So free energy will, in my understanding and what I'm calling forth on my platform, is free energy will solve a big portion of our problems, because oil wars.
Money will, because we'll have free energy.
Right, we'll have free energy, and we won't need oil wars anymore, and we won't need the pollution that comes from utilizing fossil fuels and getting them out of the earth. So, and of course, that is attached to the petrodollar, which money and oil are the 2 things that we need most to upgrade, in my humble opinion, as far as I can see. And I know that because of working in the Amazon, the main deforestation, the cancer of the Amazon was oil exploration. Once the roads were cut with massive bulldozers and big earth-moving machines, then the Indians were given $1 a day and a chainsaw by lumber companies to go fell the big trees. Once the big trees come down, they burn the bush and they grow cash crops. That's how it works.
Palm oil, fantastic.
So the fact of the matter is oil and money get to be upgraded. The oil is attached to the petrodollar, and so my second solution, the gift economy. And I have hashtags for all these. So hashtag free energy, hashtag the gift economy. And so where brothers and sisters give from their heart what they're good at, what they're passionate at. The Zulu nation of South Africa has a word for this. It's called Ubuntu. It means contributionism. And Michael Tellinger's got massive amounts of research and development all the way down into the microcosm of the, I think there's a town in Canada that's already functioned on this level. And what happens is the angel investors will come in and they'll start pumping money into this. So he's got all the technology that works out. Who's going to clean the bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera? I will. Why? Because I like living in this community. If I have to give 5 hours of my month or a week or whatever to live in a nice community, I don't have problems to put my ego aside and do what's necessary for the community work. And so, again, Michael Tellinger, A World Beyond Money, A World Without Money, has already been figured out. A lot of these principles have been figured out. If people want more information, they can look at that video. And also Peter Diamandis, who owns Singularity University, is already talking about in the next 12 years we'll be in a post-capitalistic world. We will be in a world without money, and that's a futurist.
And part of that might be that we have robots and computers taking the menial jobs away.
3D printing. Can print a house, a 3-bedroom house in 20 hours.
And if we have no need for menial jobs to be enslaving us, then we can enslave ourselves to spiritual matters,
creativity,
like Buckminster Fuller said.
Spirituality, yes. Buckminster Fuller, these are the minds that have walked before me, that have given me my own inspiration. So Buckminster Fuller, I'm a huge Bucky fan. Mm-hmm. And so free energy, the gift economy. Hey, some people like to cook food. Some people like to take care of children. Some people like public speaking. What's the number one fear on the planet?
Public speaking?
I got no problem with that.
Or is it falling?
It's public speaking.
Yeah.
Right? Falling is just, that's natural for all human beings because it represents your head cracking open and you dying. So all of our survival mechanisms, all the Qigong and the things I teach in my book are there to help your survival mechanism so you don't have musculoskeletal excitation that gives you stress in the body. And so that's why you want to stay balanced. That's why I have the Swiss ball on the cover of it. And so, because that's going to keep your head from falling over, right? Mm-hmm. That is a human fear. Sure. It's a big human fear. And so, the other two solutions are self-care education, as above, so below, when we learn how to take care of our instrument as fundamental principles, as fundamental teachings in school. Right? How to take care of the human body. What does the human body need physiologically, psychologically, and biochemically, biologically, psychologically, and physiologically. What does the human being need? What is it that enhances the human being's life? And then go towards that. Because a human being that's alive and awake is going to know that it can't shit in its local environment and maybe shit in its spoon and shove it in its mouth and think that, oh, that's not happening.
And yet we've been doing that with all of our
industrial waste,
our entire systems.
Since the dawn of the industrial age,
yeah.
Right? And we've got 7 billion people on the planet. And look, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist and this, anything's so bad or good. This is human evolution. All right? And now that we've got the information age and all the information is out there, and I'm an awake human being and I see the environment and there's approaching 10 billion people on the planet and the systems aren't working for everyone else if you look at Africa and the Middle East and Libya and Syria. And if you look at terrorism and all these other things, the off-gassing of our conquest, manifest destiny, is actually coming back to hurt us. Mm-hmm. We are all one or none is my ultimate religion. Then I have to solve those problems for the all. So how can we create equitable systems for all of mankind? So gift economy is part of that.
Pay it forward, yeah.
Self-care education, how to take care of your own set of real estate right here, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And then finally, permaculture. Food is free. We drop a seed in the ground, it fruits. You've got these guys that can plant food for us. Massive amounts of research. British Soil Association, the American military did the research. the Asians. You can organic farming outperforms commercial farming 9 to 1.
Yeah.
So
and it doesn't deplete the soil, right?
Correct.
It instead grows the soil,
Correct.
microbiome, fixes your gut. Hello.
As above, so below. Healthy soil, healthy human gut microbiome. So these are my 4 major solutions. This is my platform that I'm running President of Planet Earth next year.
Good.
This year.
Good. Wow.
President of Planet Earth
You got my vote.
2020.
Are you voting for it?
Oh yeah.
Good. We have 2.
You can't run against me unless you run against yourself. But everybody can run with me.
That's the look right there. Well, you've got the right outfit for it, right?
That's it.
Red, white, and blue.
That's boxer. But
Yeah.
I got a bikini that goes with it too.
Okay.
I'll be running right alongside Donald Trump.
Yeah. I wonder what he looks like. Never mind. And everybody lived happily ever after.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going to be just fine. And what's going to roll out is the octave, the energetic octaves, the vibration, the frequency and vibration on this planet is going to raise energetically. And we are going to rise to that occasion.